I don't have much respect for them. And if I were to run from the police, I wouldn't feel guilty here because, shit, the police run from the police in Taiwan. What I mean by that, like, I've heard of more than one first-hand story where someone sees the police, like, accidentally crash into someone, and they just back up and, like, run away before the person can get their license plate number or their car number or whatever. So in a country where police perform hit and runs, I don't feel too much guilt in disrespecting the police. If it was Canada or America, it would be a different situation. In Canada, if the police said stop, I'd stop. Okay, well, I think we're getting a bit too far behind the pack. You're a lot safer if you're riding in a group, because if you got like 10 bikes that are speeding and you got 2 police, they're not going to run out and try to stop all 10 bikes and give all 10 of you speeding tickets. But if you got like a lone biker who's speeding, then yeah, of course, they'll grab him. They'll grab him and be happy that he's alone. The larger your group, the less chance you have of being pulled over. I know that firsthand because I got pulled over once, and then a group came up and the whole group was flying, and somebody else who was stopped pointed that out. They're like, well, they're all speeding, and the guy's like, yeah, but I can't stop 20 bikes. How am I gonna, Plus, being white has its advantages, because if the police pull you over, a lot of times when police pull me over, once I take off my helmet and they see I'm white, they just like wave me on. The reason being is because a lot of them just can't speak English, and they assume I can't speak Chinese, and they just don't want the hassle of trying to communicate with me, so they just wave me on. And I heard it's changed recently, but not too long ago. If you were a foreigner, it was better to not have a license than to have one. Because if you had a license, they could use the driver's license to give you a ticket. If you didn't have a driver's license, they didn't have a way of giving you a ticket because they didn't know how to write your name, they didn't know how to record your ID number. So if you didn't have a driver's license, they'd be like, they didn't know what to do, so they just wave you on. The only other alternative would be to take you into the police station to give you a ticket there, but that'd be way too much work for a Taiwanese police officer. But I hear they're getting stricter, and I hear you can't really do that anymore. But it might be a good idea to try. The police pull you over, you say you don't have a license, and then if they're like, okay, well, you're coming to the station with me, then they'd be like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, I do have a license, here it is. If you live in America, you should really look into, I saw there's a license plate cover where it's just like a little metal cover, a little metal frame for the license plate, and then there's a sheet of clear glass. But the glass is actually an LCD screen, and when you push a button, it becomes solid black, and then when you push the button again, it clears up. But like if someone were to examine it when it's off, it's just a clear sheet of glass in front of your license plate, just a cover for protection. So no one's going to think there's anything wrong with that. But in actuality, it's got a couple of wires hooked up to it, and when you introduce an electrical charge, the whole thing turns solid black, blocking out your license plate. Gotta love people to I was going to say pull over without signaling, but he was signaling as I got closer. But I don't think he was to begin with. I think he pulled over without signaling, and then once he got over the side, then he started to signal. Harley-Davidson, Yamaha FC Leo, and FD6, sorry, Chinese again. And up ahead we got the BMW. Sometimes I have like conversations with people, and then later on I'll remember the conversation, but I won't remember if the conversation was in English or Chinese, so I'll be like, yeah, I remember talking to somebody about this, but I don't remember if I was speaking to them in Chinese or English, and then I'm trying to remember who it was that I was talking to. Sometimes I'll remember a conversation I had in English, and then I'll remember it was with this person, and that person doesn't speak English, so then I realize, oh, it must have been in Chinese.